So while watching the Chad Mendes and Alex Volkanovski fight on Saturday, I obviously had a bit of a rooting interest. I'd bet on Chad Mendes. The idea there is that I figured that standing up would probably be a little bit close. I figured Volkanovski would have the edge there. But once Mendes was able to get the fight to the mat, and I figured he would be able to, he'd be able to control from there and then be able to eke out rounds if he needed to, or possibly get the finish if that presented itself. Obviously, this didn't happen, but there was an opportunity for him in the second round that I think he really missed out on. Really small detail, and I think that him missing out on the detail here is what ended up costing him the fight. Just to give you an idea of what was going on in the fight before then, Volkanovski did a great job of pushing him back up against the fence early in the first round and even in the second round. Was managing center, was using a lot of feints, which is really exhausting to have to fight against. Um, First off, fighting while you're going backwards is really difficult to deal with, but then having to fight while going backwards and having to worry about when the guy's going to hit you makes it really tough for you to figure out when you're going to take your breaths and when you're not going to take your breaths. We were seeing Mendes get really tired really quickly there, and I don't think that was an issue of his conditioning. I think that was just an issue of the pace that Volkanovski was putting on him. So obviously he was getting tired as the fight went on. That ended up costing him at the end of the second round, but he had an opportunity in the end of the second round to really control Volkanovski, use that opportunity to catch his breath in an active rest, and possibly even get a finish to the fight because he had a really strong position with that being the back. So before I go into the details of what he messed up on the back and why Volkanovski got away, I just want to go over a brief overview of what the point of both the hooks and then what your control with the arms would be on the back and why you do it that way. So the point of the hooks is to control the hips. So in having the hooks over top of the hips, you can keep a guy from turning over and turning into you, or you can also use it just to kind of like grab on and use it to follow. So if someone tries to spin and you have it really tight to follow, you can just kind of follow them with you as you spin, or you can use it if they're trying to spin their hips and you don't follow through, just to kind of pull their hip back down. Same idea with the upper body, but instead of the hips, you're trying to control the shoulders. So a really common grip that you would use there is a seatbelt grip. And what the idea of the seatbelt grip obviously is that a seatbelt goes over one shoulder and then underneath the armpit on the other side. So that would be how you would grip it. So you'd have one arm over one shoulder, other arm underneath the armpit, hold that together, and then obviously you want to squeeze in tight just to kind of stay tight on their back. That's why when you hear people talk about being like a backpack, that's the idea where you use sort of like a seatbelt grip or something like that, where you're squeezing tight and really staying secure. In the back take, Chad Mendes did an okay job with the hooks, not a very good job with the seatbelt grip or with the really the seatbelt grip is one way to do it. It's probably the primary way to do it, but there are other ways you can control the shoulders. But not only did he not really use the seatbelt grip, he didn't really do a good job of controlling the shoulders, and this ultimately led to Volkanovski getting away. So I'm going to just kind of show you guys some screen caps from that fight, break down what he did wrong and why Volkanovski got away, and then quickly after was able to finish Mendes on the feet. So right here is just a screenshot from a video that Damian Maia or that BJJ Scout did on the Damian Maia and Carlos Condit fight. So this is just a situation where Carlos Condit actually tripoded up and was trying to get Maia off of his back. Much tougher position than what Mendes was having to deal with as far as maintaining control, but Maia did a great job, largely because his hooks were tight, and then also he kept a tight seatbelt grip, which was able to kind of follow along. So wherever Condit went, Maia was able to go. So now into the Volkanovski and Mendes fight. I got some screenshots here. It wasn't from a great video. I don't have the pay-per-view purchase, so I was able to just kind of find this off of a YouTube video and just did some screenshots here. So on top is Mendes, on bottom is Volkanovski. So here you can see he doesn't quite have both hooks in yet. He's missing the hook right here, or the his right hook. Then as it goes, he rolls with him. I believe in the process of the roll, he was able to get a second hook in, but as you can see by his left arm, he's really not doing a great job of controlling the upper body. Same here we go a bit further along. Again, there's a lot of space in between his back and or his chest and Alexander Volkanovski's back. That's not good. You really want to be tight up there and be able to follow them along. Now he gets the back. His back's on the mat. Volkanovski has both hooks in on him. But again, Mendes, his hands are not connected here. He doesn't really have his left arm underneath Volkanovski's chin. His right arm, it seems like it's there to punch, but he's not really punching with it. It seems more like he's trying to gain control. Volkanovski's keeping a tight guard here, keeping it tough for Mendes to sink a choke in. Now, it's worth noting, Mendes, though his back control isn't necessarily the most technical, he is very strong from here. He has a wicked grip on his rear naked choke. He actually had a submission underground match with Jeff Glover. I believe he's a third-degree black belt, very well known within the jiu-jitsu community, highly respected. And they were going in the EBI rule set. Now in EBI, it's a little bit different from most jiu-jitsu competitions, where in a normal jiu-jitsu competition, they both start from a neutral position, and then you have to fight to get into a stronger position and then work to get a submission from there. in EBI, if you don't get a submission in the first 10 minutes, they'll start you off in a really difficult position. So in their case, they use either the back or the spider web. The spider web's just an armbar position. The back is obviously the back. So Jeff Glover got the first opportunity. He submitted him in about 30 seconds from the back with a rear naked choke. But if you get submitted and the person goes first, you get an opportunity to take their back again. And if you submit them quicker, then you win. I don't know if Glover was aware of this or not, but regardless, Mendes got the second crack at him. Started off in the position where he had one arm across the shoulder, quickly grabbed the rear naked choke, had a really tight squeeze, and was actually able to submit Jeff Glover quicker than 31 seconds and actually won the match in the EBI rule set. So he's dangerous from the back. If he gets an opportunity to get a hold of your neck, you're in trouble. And I'm sure Volkanovski was aware of this coming into this fight, so he didn't make it very easy for Mendes to lock up the rear naked choke. But with that being said, Mendes could have done much better to control the position here and at least keep him there. If he wasn't able to get the finish, you can at least ride him out for the rest of the round. Chances of that might be enough to take the round for you and go into the third round. And more importantly than that, for him at that point in the fight, was it could be used as an active rest. So not only would he get the time in between the second and third round to catch his breath, but he could also manage his breath during the time that he had Volkanovski's back. So Volkanovski looks to turn. Mendes does a good job of following him here. So he actually does use his right arm here to control and follow. But again, you can see the center of Volkanovski's back visible here. Mendes isn't quite where he wants to be on his back. Ends up pulling him back in, which is good. But again, still fighting the hand, still trying to maintain that control. Doesn't really have anything underneath the chin. Doesn't really have a tight seatbelt grip either. So Volkanovski still has a possibility of getting out of here. And at this point, I think Mendes realizes he's having trouble controlling him from the back. So now he's looking to take the mount. So he's actually going to take his own hook out here. So this hook right here on the bottom, that being his left leg, it wasn't taken out by Volkanovski. It was Mendes himself who took that hook out. And the purpose of doing that would be so that he could go from the back mount to the full mount and then hopefully be able to attack from there. The thing is, though, when he does this, he's not really doing anything to control the upper body of Volkanovski. So there's not a whole ton of control here. He's just trying to rotate on top of him. Volkanovski is going to see this opportunity. He's going to get away. So again, here, Mendes is in the process of working towards the mount. Again, not a whole ton of upper body control. And Volkanovski is going to explode out here, get back to his feet. They're going to get back to standing from here, and then ultimately Volkanovski is going to be able to land hard on him, knock him down, knock him out, get the finish, get the win. So for Chad Mendes, if he's able to control the upper body here, I would recommend using a seatbelt grip. If he's able to control Volkanovski, he's able to catch his breath. He likely wins a round. Now, all of a sudden, Volkanovski is going to have to change his tune for the third round because, for one, Mendes is going to be a little bit better conditions. He's going to have a chance to catch his breath. But then beyond that, if you know that you possibly just lost the second round after getting taken down and controlled, you have to be a lot more careful about how you strike, because if you get taken down again, you're not able to get back up against a guy in Chad Mendes who was an extremely high-level folk-style wrestler. That could be a huge problem for you. And that could possibly make his striking a little bit more tentative in the third round to give Chad Mendes an opportunity. So really, in screwing up the back take and screwing up the control from the back, this ended up costing Mendes the fight.